All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich Celenza. Thanks for checking out my channel. So what I'm going to call this video today is do legs in reverse. I was known for my legs, I'd say more than any other body part. For some reason, my legs grew unbelievably. I ended up squatting a lot of weight, leg pressing a lot of weight, and they used to even call me tree trunk sometimes because my legs really just started to grow, especially through my early 20s and mid 20s. And you know, I'm always experimenting even back then. And a lot of times if you watch any of my videos, I'm going to tell you different style workouts that I used to do that worked out very well, and sometimes things that didn't work out well. One of the things I realized over so many years of doing legs, I guess you could say, was I was starting to have some issues. When you start doing heavy legs, you know, I don't care who the hell you are, eventually you're going to start having some issues in your knees, my lower back, my hams. So what I started to do was kind of switch up my workouts. So let me just give you an idea real quick on what I'm talking about as far as experimenting with legs. Because for the most part, most guys I know, they go in, they'll either squat or do leg presses right off the bat, right? That's usually what they're going to do. They may warm up, but that's usually, the beginning of the workout. And a lot of times that's great, you know, especially when you're younger. But I do think a lot of times guys are not warmed up properly, especially their knees. They don't have a blood flow going. To their legs in general, their hams, right, even their quads, it's not warmed up. So kind of when you get to the gym, even if you cycle, say, for 5 minutes and you do some stretching again, when you jump on that squat rack, especially if you're going to go heavy, you may not be as warmed up as you should be. So what I really want you to remember when working and doing legs is we need to make sure your legs entirely from top to bottom are really, really warmed up, okay, especially as you're getting older. Because when you do go to start squatting, when you start getting in your 30s, 40s, 50s, again, you're kind of squatting some heavier weight, you're going to immediately start feeling, I think, a pinch in your knees. I discussed this with a lot of other people. That's kind of what starts happening. Also, lower back, you know, depending on how many years you squatted. If you're like someone like me, I've been squatting for 30, 40 years, you know, I have done hundreds of thousands of squats, along with all different types of equipment. You know, doing legs, also running throughout my life, all these different types of things, the toll we're taking on our legs, not only when working out, but when not working out. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. A lot of times when I do legs, for instance, I will go in and, you know, like a lot of people, you just do legs, like you'd regularly do legs. Other workouts, I go in and just do one leg at a time. So if I do a leg curl for quads, I'm doing one leg at a time. I do a leg curl for hamstrings. I'm doing one leg at a time. When I'm doing calves, one leg at a time. I even may squat with no weight or with weight, one leg at a time. I do all different types of jumping exercises with one leg. Reason being is I always wanted to make sure I was balanced, because one of my legs, for the most part, always seems so much stronger than my other. So I wanted to make sure that matched up. I also, if I got injured sometimes or I pulled something or whatever the case may be, I couldn't use one leg, I would just keep doing a workout with my other leg. But back to doing legs in reverse now. So I was talking to my friend the other day, and he kept saying, Rich, I go and I squat. After 2 or 3 sets, I start feeling that pinch in my knees. I start feeling a little more fatigue, you know, in my lower back again. And I said, listen, do it in reverse. Save squats last, okay? If you're doing leg presses, save it for last. Now you may be like, you're nuts. By the time I get there, I'll be so worn out or fatigued my legs, I won't even be able to do that much. That's okay. We're not, if you're caught up in maybe the weight as far as squatting, then you're basically, I don't know if you're competing or whatever, that's a whole different type of thing. But if you really want to get some kind of unique results, I guess, or different than what you had before, also warm up your legs a lot differently than before, and then starting to do something that you used to do at the beginning, now at the end, it has a whole different type of feel to it. Most likely you are not going to be going as heavy as you did before. So for me, for instance, when I get to the gym, throughout most of my life, I always, regardless, at least did 1 or 2 leg curls for my quads. I had to warm up my knees. And of course, this is after like warming up 5 or 10 minutes on a bicycle, because I definitely wanted that blood flow, and spending about 10 minutes, I should say, stretching as well my legs. And not only just stretching them, I do these soccer movements. You can, if you watch my video on warming up your legs, I'll actually put it down below, but I do all these different types of stretching exercises for my legs. But back to, I do a leg curl at least for quads. 2 or 3. Now say I want to use another piece of equipment, I may jump on, say, leg curls for hams, right? Hamstrings, I'm kind of kicking that in the ass. I also may do some other different types of exercise. I do all these different things, so I'm not going to start listing them, but I do squats then at the end. Now, of course, again, I am not nearly as strong to a certain degree as if I start fresh. But I also don't a lot of times feel any pain on the other end of it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times when I do go in and I squat first, or I do leg press first, I, again, don't feel, really, really warmed up. I start to feel little tweaks here and there, and of course that's part of my age. I mean, I'm in my 50s. But even when I was younger, a lot of times I was doing legs and doing things too quickly, too heavy, and I think it definitely took a toll on my joints, tendons, muscles, everything. Did it help at times? Sure. Me always not missing a leg workout worked really well for me. I'm not going to lie about that. Still to this day, I'm probably still known for my legs to a certain degree. But on the other end, I'm going to tell you right now, I almost feel like I can't say I'm a professional athlete by any means, but like a lot of athletes that start to hit a certain age where you've done hundreds of thousands of different reps and sets throughout your life working out, my body is starting to really, feel fatigue at times. So anyways, I would definitely, if you are kind of bored too with doing legs, start doing many different things. You don't always have to get caught up going in, kind of dreading legs regardless, or doing squats, then going to do leg presses. And here's another thing I'm going to throw in there. One of the things I quit doing, especially in my late 30s, was squats, then leg press, then quads, then hams, and everything in between. And the reason I did this, when I was doing my squatting and leg presses and the rest, it was just blowing me out, especially if I did some lunges and all those type of things. So really pay attention to those type of things, okay, when you're working out. You don't always have to do the same shit over and over again, and you don't always have to incorporate squats and leg presses. I do like to incorporate each one of them to a certain degree when I do legs, but again, it may be different ways of doing them, especially even if I'm doing leg press. Sometimes I'll do 2 legs, sometimes I'll do 1 leg, sometimes I position my legs differently. I'm kind of hitting my ass more, and the same with calves as well. Make sure your calves are properly warmed up, and your shins, the front of your, your legs there need to be warmed up. A lot of people start getting shin splints and start having issues. Pay attention to all this shit. I'm telling you, in the long run, you may not think it's going to affect you too much now, but later down the road, it can definitely start affecting you. And take care of your legs for the love of God. The one thing I tell people, the last thing you ever want to do is not be mobile. Your arms and everything are going to always work themselves out. You work them throughout the day. Again, the toll you take on your legs, every step, every time you run, everything you do up and down in life, stairs, I don't care what it is, you're always using your legs. Can you imagine if you walked on your hands, say, the toll that would take on not only your hands, but also your arms? Same way. People just underestimate how much of an impact their legs have on their life sometimes. We just take it for granted, all right? So in working out, again, last thing we ever want to do is get injured or damage our body, especially our ankles, our hips, our knees, you know what I mean? Our lower back, all that shit. We want to always be healthy, so as we age, we're always mobile, okay? I went on a rant again, but who gives a shit? All right, if you get a chance, check out my podcast, The Rich Celenza Show. I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you get a chance, subscribe. And I did a leg workout. It's no big deal, but I threw it online. You can just, maybe I'll put that in here as well. Just put Rich Celenza leg workout. I didn't really even get into squatting, and I didn't do leg presses in it. I just did some other stuff that I do because I thought everybody did that. But anyways, maybe I will one day do a squat and a leg press type exercise, but try different things. One last thing, there's so many different types of equipment a lot of times in the gym regarding legs. Try them all. Don't be afraid and think, oh, if I do this, it'll make me weaker. That's boring or that's fluffy. Who gives a shit? Like the hip, what the hell is that thing where you warm your hips up? I got to do that all the time, actually. Do it all, test it at different times. That doesn't mean you have to do them all in the same day, but try something new every time you do legs. Like I was just telling you, there are so many things. Get creative because there's so much you could do with your legs besides just obviously squat, leg press, leg curls, same old shit, all right? All right, and take care of those calves too, all right? Work them to death. All right, that's all I got for you. All right, take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.